Obviously, you guys will be dealing with funerals and what have you. What if there's a dispute, over funeral arrangements?
Yeah. So the legal personal representative is the one that's responsible for the funeral. Okay, so they're the one that can contract on behalf of the estate. So in an ideal world, someone would have the will and know who the executor is, even though probate might not have been granted.
You're a funeral director or something as well, aren't you?
We do funeral brokerage, so we organise like prepaid funeral situation, but that's for untended cremation stuff. That we just do that as an add-on for our estate planning clients, so that they essentially can get a free funeral out of it. It's very cost effective. We essentially subcontract it to a reputable provider like Baron O'Day or Seasons Funerals and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But it just ultimately means that it's just a simple kind of no fuss arrangement.
Yep.
But in terms of disputed funeral arrangements, there can be disputes over whether someone's buried or cremated. In the cremation legislation, there's the mechanism for objecting to a cremation as opposed to a burial. There's not the same equivalent provision for that. The legal representative has an obligation to confer with family members about the appropriate funeral arrangements, but it's only an obligation to confer. They still ultimately have a decision. They can make a decision. Having said that, and I would only do this if there was strong, I've done it before where there was a strong religious aspect to it, dispute over what kind of funeral is going to happen.
Yeah.
And they do this a lot with Indigenous families as well. There's issues there. You can get an urgent injunction before the Supreme Court to prevent someone dealing with the funeral while they determine what's the most appropriate situation with the funeral. But in a nutshell, the legal representative has the ultimate say, and so it can be a bit tricky when, sometimes people have even conducted the funeral completely, and then they've seen the will 2 weeks later and gone, oh gosh, I didn't do it the right way, or it was cremation instead of burial, and vice versa. So that's again another reason why you want to tell your executor about where the will is, so everyone knows exactly what to do. But basically, if there is no will involved, then it comes down to the informant being the next of kin.
Sure.
And they have some silly seniority of next of kin. It's a bit loose, the who gives the authority, but they tend to, I think, go out of some of the medical legislation about seniority of next of kin. But to avoid all those arguments, you're better off having a will. And if there's a real drama anyway, there are a way of getting in contact with us really quickly, contacting the provider and saying, don't do anything with the funeral, we're going to get an injunction. Sometimes you can sort it out with just the parties giving an undertaking, and then you just negotiate and it can be dealt with that day, hopefully. But if you need to get an injunction, that's big stuff. We literally stay up until 2-3 o'clock in the morning and get it sorted to get it into court, because it's urgent. It's urgent stuff. It's obviously time sensitive, but